the most amazing thing happened. Ben Shapiro came out and absolutely slammed Trump and basically said what we've all been recognizing and been saying from the progressive side, the left side, which is Trump's all about money. It's all about transactions. That's it.
Yeah.
He has no morals. He has no
shit.
Yeah. But they don't seem to get that. And they think that he's America first. It's like, no, he's money first.
He's himself first.
He's himself first.
He's selling crypto, like via his Truth Social.
His wealth has gone up exponentially. I can't remember the figures, but it's phenomenal. It's
2 billion, I think. I think 2 billion. And like, he basically shorted the stock market, right? He literally said to people, good time to buy.
Yeah, hint.
I mean, it's transparent. And then there was that thing in the Oval Office where he had some cronies around. He's like, yeah, you made loads of money. You made loads of money. You made loads of money. And people are sitting there thinking, he's going to sort out the price of eggs.
So,
or he's going to deport all the immigrants. Yeah, I know. You couldn't make it up.
The crypto thing that you brought up was very interesting as well, because there was another news story with that, where essentially, and again, Ben Shapiro brought this to my attention, and then sort of he gave himself a caveat, but it's clearly part of the Trump plan outline, like methodology. So apparently the crypto coin that he announced just before he got elected, is now worth about 13 billion, and they've shorted it. Except now, he said, I think it's 200 or 250 people. Whoever has the most shares in my crypto gets a meeting with me. God. And then on top of that, that cryptocurrency is being traded on non-American trading sites. So if you're American, you can't get access to it. You couldn't make it up. Now, Shapiro said, and I haven't vetted this, but it was coming from Shapiro, so you're like, wow, this is so interesting. He suggested that the Qataris are buying influence by buying the coins, which is them personally financing Trump and then allowing them access. And that's apparently another reason why a lot of the Jewish community that were MAGA are now going ballistic about Trump and his behavior. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
But we've been shouting it from the rooftops. No one listens.
No.
And then we can...
No. So therefore, I have a little bit of me that is a bit tired out anyway. I mean, highs and lows, energy goes up and down, right? Keep plodding along. But we're so far away from a general election. And actually, at the moment, it doesn't look like there's much dissent in the Labour ranks, because I think Starmer knew what he was doing. He purged anybody who was like real sort of socialist Corbynite out the party. But
I think he's facing a reckoning, I think, over the
maybe. I'm sure they're probably a little unsettled at the moment. But at the moment, like you used to when the Tories were in, it was every 5 minutes they were doing the 1964 committee and striding down corridors with that big man that looked like a big piece of beef. But so you're not getting much indication of that. And there's a little part of me, and this sounds so like, I mean, I'm not going to sort of give up, but maybe we just, need to get Farage in. And then everyone will see what they've bloody voted for. Like, what is happening? No, Liz, I'm just saying, there's a bit of me that is like, is this just cyclical? Is this just what happens in history? And we always mirror everything that goes on in the States. And there's so much Trump regret there now. And sort of not civil war, but, you see all the protests that we only get so much footage of on social media. And maybe we just are headed there and people need to find out. And then there's a reset. No? Okay.
No, because I think it's very, when you really understand what happens with an autocrat and the way that Reform Party is set up, it just takes on a momentum of its own. And it's relentless, and there's no way they can stop what would start. So absolutely, every single good person must stand up and fight this. And yes, thank goodness we are 4 years away from an election. However, if the Labour Party splits, which could happen, it did happen in 1931 under Ramsay MacDonald, then we are in uncharted waters then. So we really have a lot of work to do. And there's the anti-Trump coalition is building with Zoe Gardner. Please join it. We're going to be part of it. Farming is going to be a central part of it. It's really important.
Anti-what coalition?
Anti-Trump.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I'm all anti-Trump. I mean,
that's the vehicle we need to get into, because we've got the threat of an American trade deal, which is they're trying to let you believe that it's been signed. It hasn't. It's a pro forma.
Well, also hasn't gone through Congress.
No, we don't. It's not a trade deal. It's just a sort of, a preamble.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make out that they'll only send the good stuff. That's a lie. America doesn't check any of its exports. There is nothing. There's no checks. They turn around and say, you want to have our imports? It's up to you to check what we send. And I've just already told you what our checks are like. So there is no way that we're going to be having the good stuff. And there's no way they're going to manage the quotas either. So the American trade deal is a disaster. So there's that to fight, Trump to fight. And in actually talking about Trump, it definitely puts Nigel Farage in a very, very difficult
That's the other thing. That is the other thing, because of Starmer's choice to, and I understand a little bit, and I know, don't go off, Liz, because I know you're like, the car industry is so small compared to farming. But like, I know he's done nothing for farmers, but like that is another, there is still people with families and everything. And so you didn't want those tariffs. So that was a positive out of that. But the schmoozing to Trump is pretty unpalatable. And as a result, he can't now come after Farage for having supported him.
Yeah, but I've got to come back to you on that, because the car industry is owned by Indian corporation. I know the jobs are important, but the farming and food sector employs 4 million jobs.
I know.
And it's all about SMEs. So actually the war that is being waged, it's not about individual people. It is actually about corporations owning everything. Yeah. And so I believe that Starmer and Reeves are helping that reality with the budget, with the inheritance tax on SMEs, which I know it's all about farming, but it actually has really stressed family businesses, which have been the backbone of this country and our identity. And then with the national insurance changes, and then the India trade deal means that Indian corporations can come in here, buy up distressed British companies, which are family businesses, on the cheap, and then ship in. And I'm not, as you know, I'm pro-immigration. What I don't like is unfairness, because they're going to be able to bring Indian personnel in here 20% cheaper. Anyway, we've got that because of Brexit, but then they also don't have to pay the national insurance,
but
which is one of my farmers. His salary bill has gone up by 4.3 million a year because of that national insurance change. And you're looking at marginal profits.
I'm pretty sure the visa scheme said only 100 visas.
No, it's not it's not the visa scheme, is it? It is that they can bring in their staff to set up the company,
but only
and it's a 3-year
total.
rolling. That it's not limited to 100.
It's not.
There is no limit.
Because when I did the research, it came back and said, my understanding was there was 100 extra visas added. I'm happy to go back and check that.
Yeah, well, I mean, 100 is still a lot, Al.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but then the idea is that it's meant to be reciprocal, and then you've got 17 other countries with these type of trade deals with the UK, where.
So why?
I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't get it, but if you go over to the country, you just pay their national insurance, and then that's the end of it. I'm not 100% sure why there's that exchange between countries, but
the issue that we're looking at is the survival of British businesses stressed by Brexit, and the fact that they're going to bring in corporations that are going to be able to come in and buy, huge swathes of British businesses and take away that family ownership. That is what the change.
I don't like that. I actually don't.
And we've seen that with Amazon, It's the same Amazon effect.
Yeah.
And Amazon pays no tax, which is why our public services are crumbling.
And water.
So I think my problem at the moment is I don't really know what to say to people. So leading up to the election, it was very easy. Get the Tories out at all costs, the damage that they were doing in every way. So I was part of the vote tactically team, so I voted Lib Dem, Marina voted Green, but we just wanted to get them out. And in doing so, we were ergo supporting Labour, right? So by voting tactically, really, that's what. So then you had the contingency, people like Owen Jones who were saying, do not vote Labour. Keir Starmer is an absolute shyster. You need to vote Green or Lib Dem, and absolutely make sure, which we ended up doing by default anyway, make sure that Labour, that the shot across the bows isn't reform, that it's other progressives saying, we want you to be progressive. And, you know, with hindsight, he was right. And I didn't think Labour were going to be perfect. I wasn't that naive, but I didn't think they would be like this. So where I'm at now is a load of people going, told you, which is quite boring for anybody. And me going, yeah. And I don't really know, because at the moment it doesn't seem the right time. When it becomes the time, where do you go then? What are you saying? Because I'm even feeling now like I probably, if Zach Walensky gets in, Ed Davies talking sense, but there isn't a clear deterrent from Farage, because then the next thing becomes, Jesus, you just don't want to, you know, let Farage in. And at the moment, I don't know what the alternative is.
It's